Yeah.
Okay, so this is from Stanford Law.
Mm-hmm.
So Stanford Law, some group, probably, I'm guessing, one of the Republican-ish groups, invited this judge, a federal judge, to come speak. As often happens at law schools, a student group will invite a federal judge to come speak. The judge will either come speak or not, and give you some insights about being a judge, being an attorney, being, the law, whatever they want to talk about. I don't even know what his speech is about.
I have no idea. No idea.
Okay. But so he gets up to speak, and of course, it being Stanford and the place of self-fistery, these people have just decided that before he can speak, a BIPOC administrator has to give some opening remarks.
I don't actually think, from what I understand, because I actually found an interview about this that took place where someone interviewed Judge Kyle Duncan, is the judge's name, and someone interviewed him afterwards, and the implication is that he actually was in the middle of speaking and the mob was screaming at him, and then this administrative dean of diversity, equity, and inclusion,
I gotta love them, they're so useful.
You need a dean for
education.
This. Yeah, that she stepped into the fray, and his first thought was that she was going to calm them all down. That was what he was expecting was going to happen here. He was
thought wrong, bitch.
Yeah, she was not expecting her to have prepared remarks to be leveled at him.
I love when he says it at the beginning. It's kind of hard to hear, so I'll just say it. He says, this seems like a setup. And she's like, it's not a setup. Here's my prepared speech. And she goes on for like 8.5 minutes.
Yeah.
After that. So
yeah. And everyone should appreciate the reason this is really significant is because it's Stanford Law School. That's what you need to appreciate. Stanford Law School is not just another law school. It is the number 2 law school in the country. There is Yale, and then there's Stanford. It's not debated. And Columbia is behind it, NYU, Harvard, all of them are behind Stanford as the number 2 law school in the country. And this has significance because you could practically walk out of this school failing everywhere, barely passing anything, not know anything, and you will be clerking for a judge for a judge 10 seconds after you walk out of here. You can walk into any big firm and get a job. And your life potential to become elected to Congress, all of these people, all the real powerful people in the country 20 years from now, every person sitting in this room has phenomenal opportunity to basically write their meal ticket to become whatever they want when you're coming out of Stanford Law School. So it's not like, it's not a second tier school. It's not even like, a top 10. This is where Supreme Court justices come from, this environment, and this is what they're churning out. That's, to me, why this is so significant.
Yeah, this is it's a critical law school for the upper echelons of the legal and political community, but also it's bullshit. This should tell everybody.
Yes.
Here we go. Like, if we need to pause. I'm sorry. If I'm the speaker and this manlet walks up to me and might get slapped. What the fuck are you doing walking up on me? I'm speaking. It would be like, whoa, back off, buddy. Like, back up, homie.
I am an assistant dean, and I would love to answer your question.
I'm an assistant dean.
Because you're asking for the room as well. Is that okay?
Assistant dean, what
Okay, because you are also talking to the room.
You asked for an administrator. She is an administrator.
She is an administrator.
Yeah.
Literally, you lost all your credibility the moment administrator was added to your job title to me. Like, I don't give a shit. I never want to talk to an administrator.
But she doesn't consider your opinion important. She considers the respect of these people important. And they're sitting here saying she's an administrator, as if like that makes her like uniquely special.
Which is interesting because I don't respect law student opinions. If I'm a federal judge, like they're there to hear me, right? Like, that's the whole point, is that, yeah, I have a career making jurisprudence and you have a career starting out learning from people like me who have made it, whether you agree with me or not. And that's the approach I took in law school. Like, I don't have particular respect for judges. I don't have particular disrespect for judges. They're just people. But when you're in law school and they're talking, you should listen. Like, they're doing what you're needing to do or what you're needing to appeal to in your entire life. And it's crazy that these people are like this. Here we go.
Can I say something?
Can I say something? Oh, here we go.
Is that okay?
She's
asking me to speak here, and I'm being heckled nonstop. And I'm just asking for an administrator to sign.
Yeah, he's asking for an administrator to stop all of them from heckling him constantly, which, by the way, like, just leave. Take your speaking fee and leave. That's what I would do. Fuck off. Yeah. Be like, all right, like, you guys don't want to hear how the law works. Cool. Peace. See you next time. But he's sitting there trying. That's a good pause face on him. He's sitting here trying to deliver a speech. He's like, look, I just want an administrator to come in and have me finish my set so I can go. And he's being very calm. And instead, she's like asking the audience, can I say something? Can I take some of his time? It's like, wait, not yours to give. It's not theirs. It's his.
Seriously. But you should know also, he said in his interview that 2 U.S. Marshals showed up voluntarily because they heard he was coming there to speak in plainclothes. So they're actually there protecting him. And they told him that if he ever feels like threatened, which he said he never did feel like physically threatened, if you ever feel threatened, that he should tap top of his head and they'll like get him out of there. So they
U.S. Marshals are probably in khaki shorts and polo shirts.
But it shows you, like, I mean, even walking in there, like, you know, U.S. Marshals, they heard he's coming there, and they're like, oh, well, we better the posse better round up and show up here to just because things are about to go down. Yeah. So, yeah, this was not a surprise to a lot of people who know anything about Stanford.
Here we go.
Your racism is showing.
Your racism is showing.
Your epidermis is showing.
Respect black women.
If you want another place of ideas, you've gotten what you wanted, take it. Like, do you want an echo chamber? What's the issue?
Can I help?
I guess I have to prepare remarks, but
And I want you to be able to. I want you to be able to get
Here we go.
I had to write something down because
I had to write something down. It's a 10-minute speech.
I just say I'm deeply, deeply uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable because this event is tearing at the fabric of this community that I care about and I'm here to support. And I don't know, and I have to ask myself, and I'm not a cynic to ask this.
Sorry, when you were in law school, did you feel like you were in a community?
No, there's no such, you know what? There's no such thing. There's no such thing as the Jewish community or the white community or the black community or the gay community or any of these communities. But people need to do that if you're going to fixate on intersectionality. So yeah, everyone's part of a community because somehow they pretend that means they belong to something, even as they're sitting there isolated and feeling alone.
I just, like, when I was in law school, I mean, I had a group of friends and we were a quote unquote community. I guess there's like 6 or 7 of us that hung out all the time. But other than that, like, I did not feel in community with my law school classmates at all. Like, in fact, they rank you. They pit you against each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's been the law school thing forever. The idea that law school is like a community. Oh, everybody's just giving hand jobs. No, no. Like, you're competing against these people for rank, for you're competing for grades because they grade on a curve. You're competing, like, literally your grade matters how you do relative to that next person.
And it gets remembered also because people still say to this day, Joe Biden finished 87 out of 94 in his class. So he's in the bottom 10% of his class community.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like, I never felt like there was a community. And here she is. This community, fuck off.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
I love it. Is it worth you coming here? Is it even worth you speaking to these students? Like, is it even worth it? But to him, he probably collected a speaker's fee. I'm sure it is worth it to him.
It isn't a setup.
Can't clap.
For many people in this law school who work here, who study here, and who live here, your advocacy, your opinions from the bench land as absolute disenfranchisement of their rights and does land. Let me
You're muted. You're muted.
Listen to what they're saying. How dare you interrupt her? That's essentially what they're saying. We just spent the last 20 minutes yelling at you, interrupting everything you're saying. How dare you interrupt her, who's not supposed to be here or speaking at all? It's the levels of self-awareness are just astonishing.
It's amazing. It's fucking amazing.
Let me finish, please. Let me and it impacts directly their people, humans, their families, and their communities. And I'm uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable to say this to you as a person.
No, it's not. You're loving this.
He's a judge. He's a judge who issues rulings presumably based on the law. And she's like, well, your rulings as a federal judge impact their community. Well, yes, he is a federal judge, so it does kind of impact everybody. But so fucking what? It's not personal. It's not like he's ruling against Z blacks or like Z Mexicans or whatever. Like, because that's what they're thinking. Like, this judge is making these rulings to personally attack my community, my people, my heritage. This guy's like, I'm just a judge. I'm calling it as I understand the law. And I mean, and maybe he's super racist. I guess I don't know.
It's also that, like, you know, the rulings of some Second Circuit or 11th. He's probably in the 9th Circuit, right? He's probably some 9th Circuit judge. I
would imagine if he's there.
Yeah, like he's probably not a district court judge. He's probably a 9th Circuit judge. What I'm saying is, you're correct in that if he is conservative, one of the differences between the way the right and the left looks at the judicial branches, we sort of look at the judicial branches as if they're there to interpret the law. And if you have an originalist perspective, that's how you view your role. But it's the liberal judges who look at it as a living, breathing thing that's their job to start writing new laws. And
he's a 5th Circuit judge, is what
5th Circuit?
The chat's saying. Oh man, they brought a 5th Circuit judge to California. No wonder they're pissed.
Yeah, so his rulings haven't had any impact on them. So it's not having any impact on them because 5th Circuit is down in Florida. But
no, Texas, Oklahoma.
Oh, Texas.
Yeah.
Right. 5th Circuit used to be Florida, but now, yeah. Back when I was in law school, 5th Circuit was Florida. But my point is that the difference between left and right is that if you're sitting on the right and you're originalist, you think your job is to interpret the law, and that what you're doing is the best interpretation of the law based on the framework that you're supposed to work within. It's the ones who are more apt to engage in judicial legislation and make new law are the ones who are sitting on the left, because that's aligned with their philosophy. The Constitution is a living, breathing thing, and we can stretch things based on what we feel is right and how the times are changing. So it's not like he's sitting there writing new laws that anyone would deem racist, if any, or transphobic, or whatever stupid label they're going to attach to it. It's a matter of that's him literally interpreting the law as he understands it, which is what makes this so astonishing that these law students just have zero comprehension as to what it is that he does or how he approaches things.
Uncomfortable to say that for many people here, your work has caused harm, has caused harm. And I know that must be uncomfortable to hear.
I
know that must be. Let me please.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Judge Duncan. I'm also uncomfortable because many of the people in the room here I've come to care for. And in my role at this university, my job is to create a space of belonging for all people in this institution. And that is hard and messy and not easy, and the answers are not black or white or right or wrong.
How did he stand through this whole thing?
Of the creation of belonging. And it doesn't feel comfortable, and it doesn't always feel safe, but there are always places of safety, and there is always an intention from this administration to make sure you all can be in a place where you feel fully you can be here, learn, grow into the amazing advocates and lawyers and leaders that you're going to be. I'm also uncomfortable because it is my job to say you are invited into this space. You are absolutely welcome in this space.
Oh, he feels welcome right now.
Learn and again, live. I really do wholeheartedly welcome you because me and many people in this administration do absolutely believe in free speech. We believe that it is necessary. We believe that the way to address speech that feels abhorrent, that feels harmful.
Wait for the but though, because you know it's coming. We believe in free speech that feels abhorrent, that feels harmful. Wait for the but. Here it comes.
A very big but.
That literally denies the humanity of people. That one way
to speech that literally denies the humanity of people, as if speech can deny the humanity of someone. Here we go. Here we go. Wait for the but.
to do that is with more speech and not less, and not to shut you down or censor you or censor the student group that invited you here. That is hard. That is uncomfortable. And that is a policy and a principle that I think is worthy of defending even in this time, And again, I still ask, is the juice worth the squeeze?
There it is. But is it worth it? But is it worth it? She says it's valuable to defend this. And I still have to ask, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yep.
Fucking unreal.
Yep.
Unreal.
Is the juice worth the
I mean,
squeeze?
is it worth the pain that this causes and the division that it causes? Do you have something so incredible?
So is
worth
free
to say
speech
about-
worth the hurt feelings? Is it worth it?
Joe, just you have to consider, Joe, do you have something so critically important to cause all this harm that you actually have nothing to do with, but rather these people are choosing to be offended by your mere presence? Like,
listen to how she's enabling that crowd, and she's basically saying like they're totally right for trying to shut you up. Everyone here who's screaming at you is totally right. This is what an assistant dean of administration, whatever the hell that means, for diversity, inclusion, and equity. This she's saying to the mob, you're right. You're totally right to try shutting him up. It's awful.
It's insane. Here we go.
About Twitter and guns and COVID, that is worth this impact on the division of these
Hell yeah.
people who have sat next
Absolutely.
to each other for years, who
Yes.
are going through what is the battle of law school together. So
The
that they
battle
can go out
together.
into the world
They're
and
not
be
going
out-
together.
You're not fighting against the law school as a group of people. It's not like, yes, I'll be the shield and sword up front and you shoot arrows from the
you
back.
get the catapult.
What the fuck is she talking about?
I'll bet anything she never spent 10 minutes in law school herself,
I wish
except
I
as an
knew-
administrator.
I wish I knew who she was in her CV. I'm
Well,
curious.
he's calling for her to be fired now, so we should be able to find that out.
The judges?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, there's only one way for this to be fixed.
Administrator, judge.
There's only one way for this to be fixed, which will never happen. The only way for this to be fixed is for Stanford to lose its accreditation as the second ranking school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if they all of a sudden fell down to like number 5 because people saw this video and they're like, this is the type of students that they're churning out. Clearly, this is not the elite levels that we have elsewhere. That's the only way that a law school will learn its lesson, because that would crush them if they fell even one spot because of this video. They should fall 150 spots because of this video. Look at the idiots that they're churning out here. I mean, look what they're promoting.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. Why would you want any of the? Can you imagine being a law firm and wanting to hire anyone in this crowd?
Right.
Horrifying.
Right. The whole point to what we are, the profession that we chose, is that we have sufficient respect for the other side to speak and then try to counter that, not try to silence them, not try to shut them down. The whole point to having a court system is that each side gets to be heard, not the side that licks the right butt, not the side that, knows how to kiss up, not the side that's in power, but that both sides have an opportunity to be heard, not that even the side that's unpopular. And the fact that this school doesn't promote that, to me, tells me I don't understand how on earth anyone looks at them as if the product that they're churning out here is something that anyone should deem elite. If anything, it's questionable whether they have any ability at all.
This woman was 17 years as a lawyer, clinical supervisor, program director, and then executive director of the East Bay Community Law Center, the community-based clinical program for Berkeley Law School and the largest provider of free legal services and policy advocacy in Alameda County.
Wow.
That's what she did. As a lawyer, she founded the Clean State Clinic, the nation's first reentry clinic. During her 11-year tenure as executive director, she oversaw the creation or expansion of the programs, including community economic justice, consumer justice, education advocacy, immigration, and youth defender clinics. She served for 2 years as the chief program officer at the ACLU of Northern California. Oh, fuck. Can you imagine? So she's, they have apologized to this judge. Stanford has apologized.
Oh, have they?
Specifically.
That's
Here we go. Quote, what happened was inconsistent with our policies on free speech, and we are very sorry about the experience you had while visiting our campus. We are very clear with our students that given our commitment to free expression, if there are speakers they disagree with, they are welcome to exercise their right to protest, but not to disrupt the proceedings. Staff members who should have enforced university policies failed to do so and instead intervened in inappropriate ways that are not aligned with the university's commitment to free speech. Fire her then.
Yeah.
We are taking steps to ensure that something like this does not happen again. Fire her. Like, that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not calling for her to be censored, but if your policy is don't do this and she does it to a judge as Stanford, to a federal judge, fire her immediately.
Who would she not do that to? Who would she not talk undressed like that? If she's willing to do it to a circuit court judge, who on earth would she not do that to?
I mean, I would do it to a federal judge, but I'm not working at Stanford. Like, I'm just an asshole. Like, that's...
You would never silence him. You would never.
No, I'd make fun of him later.
Right.
Or,
right. That's the difference. I mean, think of what your whole school's, the purpose of your school is, and what it is that she's doing, which is the exact opposite. I'm surprised that Stanford apologized.
I've got the letter. We'll look it up. We got a couple minutes of this left. Here we go.
Yep.
And this is the division that's caused. When I say, is the juice worth the squeeze? That's what I'm asking. Is this worth it? And I hope so, and I'll stay for your remarks to see, because I do want to know your perspective. I am not, in the business of wanting to either shut down speech, because I do know that if they come for this group today, they will come for the group that I am part of tomorrow. I do believe that, and I understand why people feel like the harm is so great that we might need to reconsider those policies. And
the snapping is so obnoxious.
Where they can learn the advocacy skills to advocate for those changes.
Advocate? Stanford is where these kids can learn for the advocacy skills to advocate against allowing speech that they may disagree with, is what she just said. Because she's talking about the policies that enable him to be there uninterrupted, and then says this is where they're learning the advocacy skills to advocate against that. No.
The advocacy skills, learn how to heckle better. That's what they should have a class. This is Stanford mob school. It's not Stanford law school. We're going to teach you, we're going to teach you how to build your own torch.
Something to share with us that we can learn from. I hope you can learn too.
The most condescending shit ever.
Gosh.
I hope you can learn from them. Beautiful law students. I hope you can learn in here while they're learning up here. Can you fucking imagine this?
While you're in this learning institution, I hope you can look to the spectacle of and the noise to the people holding these signs, the people who are here to learn, the people who, just like you, absolutely are fighting for, working for freedom, just to be free, to be themselves.
No,
that is what they are here for.
They're not there for that.
Because they feel harmed, not just by your speech. If it was just words, that would be one thing. You have authority and you have power to make decisions that impact the lives of millions. And I hope if you learn anything, that you can listen through your partisan lens, the hyper-political lens, and just look and...
You can listen through your partisan lens, your hyper-political lens. Bitch. I could
go off.
Man.
Go off. I'll
Please.
snap while you go off.
We're just Stanford. Tag me in, coach. Put me in. I'll heckle right back. I'll call them all fat. I'll make fun of everybody in that stupid fucking room. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about any of them. Oh my goodness. The level of like respect that this guy has to sit there while this 3 is telling him about everything in the world, how it really works with real people. I'm like, bitch, you're a caricature. You're fake. You're not even like, why are you even here? What are you doing? You're not asked to speak. You know why? No one wanted to hear you speak today. Maybe they'll want to hear you speak tomorrow, and that's fine. But today is not your day. Sit the fuck down. Take your prepared remarks. This is obviously an ambush that you had planned. Take your prepared remarks and go read them in the fucking bathroom where someone might give a shit. Can you imagine? I mean, sitting there. This guy is just sitting there like, oh, yeah, okay.
Seriously.
Well, just say your thing.
So
say
much
your fucking thing.
So much respect for him for just standing there and not lashing out. I mean, because that takes self-discipline. Like listening to her go off, and there's no clock. Like he doesn't know. We have a clock that says 9 minutes. He doesn't know if it's going to be 20 minutes. He
has no idea. He's just sitting there like, all right, I guess. God, I cannot believe. What would happen if Federalist Society invited me to speak? Yeah, I'd go in a heartbeat. It'd be hilarious. I teach them how to be a social media lawyer. Be perfect. Look, most of you are going to fail because you're all dumb. So when you fail, go to social media like I did. There, that'd be it. It'd be great.
See human beings who are asking you to take care. And like all guests on our campus, we ask that you come with good intentions and respect. And I do want to hear your remarks. And I do want to say thank you for protecting the free speech that we value here of our speakers and of our protesters. And I want to remind you all of one thing. I chose to be here today.
We know you had a prepared speech.
Many people go before Judge Duncan who do not necessarily choose to be there. And they have to listen to everything he says. Literally thousands of people. You have a choice. You do not need to stay here if this is not where you want to be. You can stay here if this is where you want to be right now.
You chose this. You can unchoose this just in case you forgot. You don't have to be here anymore. Oh my fucking God.
And make that choice. If you do choose to stay here, I do think we should give space.
Oh, do you?
To hear what Judge Duncan has to say. And I hope that also you will take question and answer and comment section to say what you need to say and to ask the questions you need to ask. I'm really grateful to be in this institution. I look out and I don't ask what is going on here. I look out and I say, I'm glad this is going on here.
Oh, God.
Wow. A professional mob panderer.
I like how the 2 idiots just walked out. Okay, before he says anything, Joe.
Yeah.
You're the judge in this situation. What's the first thing you say?
I would say thanks for your time. I'm out.
Okay.
That's probably what I would say there. What would you say?
I would say, well, the crowd today has indicated that we need to have a little refocus on what it actually means to have free speech and free exchange of ideas. And a critical component of the free speech and free exchange of ideas is 1, knowing when a person is speaking, 2, respecting that time, and 3, speaking on your own outside of disrupting that person. As a humble Fifth Circuit judge from Louisiana, I learned a Southern concept called respect. And you'll notice that I waited patiently for this person to exercise her speech, even though she was not in her place to do it, not at her time to do it, and did it in an improper manner. And with that, we'll move on to our first lesson in constitutional free speech law: time, place, and manner restrictions. And then I would just start giving a con law lesson right after that. I would scrap my entire speech and just start giving
start going into con law first amendment.
I mean, like, you have no idea, clearly, and Stanford isn't teaching you. But when you practice in front of me, you better actually know the case law, because your feelings are not relevant to my analysis.
See, I think if you walk out, because at this point he wants her fired. And I think that you have a better chance of reaching that agenda if you actually walk out. than if you like, your approach. I like your approach in the sense that it's a way of sticking it in her face.
Oh, yeah, but I'm
let's
just
face
an
it,
asshole. So.
you think he's gonna get 30 words out before they start heckling him again?
Yeah, that's fine by me. See, I can deal with being heckled. I don't care that much.
Yeah, but I'm saying is he wouldn't be able to get all that out, as opposed to just being like, all right, thanks for your time. And then it's like, then it becomes clear that that like, as to why it is that you're walking out. And I think that it ends up potentially being more having more of an effect that you're looking to get, rather than getting something off your chest, which your way is a way of like sort of but and very effectively. But yeah, I think just walking out is a way to just make it more likely that Stanford regrets ever letting that hippo go up there.
So pour out an odd bag of bow, more at Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the team, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Painting tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the thought better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the